In a small town nestled between green hills and winding rivers, there lived a young man named Arjan. He was known for being honest, hardworking, and dependable. But there was one thing that always got the better of him: his temper. He didn't get angry without reason, but when he did, it burned like fire. One harsh word, one unfair act, and his patience would disappear. People respected him, but many feared his anger. Arjan worked as a carpenter. His hands were skilled, and his heart, though hidden behind a wall of frustration, was good. He lived alone, spent most of his time at work, and carried the quiet pain of being misunderstood. He didn't like being angry, but life had not been easy for him. He had grown up poor, seen his father beaten down by circumstances, and had promised himself that he would never let anyone walk over him. One morning, Arjan received a big order from a wealthy merchant in town. The merchant wanted a set of hand-carved furniture for his daughter's wedding. It was the largest order Arjun had ever gotten, and if completed on time, it would change his life. He poured his heart into the work. Every curve, every detail, he shaped with love and care. For 2 weeks, he worked day and night, forgetting meals, forgetting sleep. Finally, the day arrived. The merchant came to inspect the work. Arjun stood proudly beside his creation, but the merchant frowned. He ran his hand over the wood, looked at the designs, and without saying much, shook his head. "This is not what I wanted," he said coldly. "I expected better. I won't pay for this." Arjun's heart sank. His hands trembled. His jaw clenched. He had worked so hard, and now, without explanation, the man was walking away. "Sir," Arjun said, trying to stay calm, "please look again. Every piece is carved by hand. I followed your instructions exactly." But the merchant didn't even look back. "It's not good enough," he said, getting into his car. Something inside Arjun snapped. Rage boiled in his chest. His fists tightened, his vision blurred. For a moment, all he could think about was the insult, the injustice. He could chase the man, shout, demand his payment. Everyone in the street had seen the scene. His pride was burning. But then, he remembered something, a lesson his father had once told him. Long ago, when Arjun was a boy, he had seen his father humiliated by a man who refused to pay for his work. Young Arjun had asked, "Why didn't you fight back?" His father had replied, "Son, anyone can shout, anyone can strike, but kindness drew." In that moment, standing on the road with his anger boiling and his future slipping away, Arjun closed his eyes. He took a deep breath, and he let it go. He didn't chase the merchant. He didn't shout. Instead, he turned back, looked at his furniture, and smiled quietly. "It's still beautiful," he whispered. The neighbors were shocked. One man approached and said, "Why didn't you do anything?" "He insulted you," Arjun replied, "because I won't let someone else's words decide who I am. If I lose my temper, I lose myself. But if I choose kindness, I stay free." He walked back to his workshop, cleaned his tools, and began working again. Not because he had to, but because creating brought him peace. Later that evening, as he was sweeping the floor, a small car pulled up outside his shop. A young woman stepped out. She introduced herself as the merchant's daughter. "I saw what happened this morning," she said softly. "My father, he can be difficult, but I saw your work. It's beautiful. I've never seen furniture like that. The details, the love in it, it's perfect." Arjun said nothing. He wasn't sure what to say. "My father told me you didn't fight back," she continued. "He expected a scene, but when you didn't react, it made him think. That hasn't happened in years." She handed him an envelope. "Here's your full payment. My father asked me to bring it. And something else too." From the car, she brought out a folder. Inside was a contract. "He owns a hotel chain," she said. "He wants you to design the interiors of one of his new resorts. He says he's never met a man with your patience and grace." Arjun stood frozen. He couldn't believe it. She smiled and said, "Sometimes, the way we respond changes everything. You chose kindness when you had every reason not to." And that was magic. Arjun accepted the contract, his heart full but quiet. He thanked her, not just for the offer, but for reminding him that his father's words still lived inside him. Over the following months, Arjun's life changed. He began working on new projects, hired 2 young apprentices, and became known not just for his craftsmanship, but for his character. People came to him with their stories, their struggles. He listened. He shared his own journey. He never preached. He simply lived by one truth, that kindness is not weakness. It is strength under control. Years later, when people in the town told stories about Arjun, they never started with his success or his skill. They spoke of the day he was insulted in public and chose silence over shouting, the day he walked away with dignity and unknowingly opened a door to his destiny. And whenever someone asked him how he stayed so calm, so peaceful, he would smile and say, "Because I remember the day I could have chosen anger, but chose kindness instead. That was the day everything changed." And indeed, that day, he discovered a truth. Most people never realize kindness doesn't just change how others see you. It changes what life gives you. When you hold back your anger and let your heart speak, the world listens in a different way. That day, Arjun didn't lose. He gained something priceless. And that choice, made in silence, echoed louder than any shout ever could.